of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an I-Had moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Ministry Reese Taha. With me today, we have the messenger prophet of Ahezaah, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, my partner and co-host, Brother Fakir Abdul Aziz, and we're missing Holy Queen Mother A.H.A.D Saleem. Those in the audience, those who watch this program, may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings about everyone's presence. So many things to discuss, you know. I think today, though, the camera being turned on us, you know.
You think?
Well, you know, because the preface on himself is it's really a hard.
The sun is being turned.
Well, let's let the audience know what happened. How did we get to where we at?
Oh, a question was posed originally from the messenger, asking how, you know, what was the topic of the show. Right. And my brother here, you know, Word Meister, I call him sometimes, you know, came up with the idea of, you know, thought about the contemporary message. He can express really himself what he would really want to convey.
We were talking, I thought, while we were doing some work during the week, was the effect of the contemporary messenger, the modern day messenger, the modern day divine messenger.
He would like to get out of it, doesn't it?
And the effect that the modern day messenger would have on the people to whom he's bringing the message to, that he's given to bring the message to, and how the people will get lost on the very fact that the messenger in itself is a very real person, a very real vehicle by which to speak to them, to make them understand a thing. And because he's so very clear and so very real.
Look at him, just extending this explanation.
You know,
he wanted to talk about me, and I said no. Let's talk about the co-host and the host for a change. Now, I'm quite sure that there are some of you out there in the audience who may be familiar with them in the real world, as we say, and not so much familiar with me because I don't get around too much. So it would be nice if we had a phone-in situation here where you can call in and tell me some things about how they are out in the real world, as they say. But I just want to make it clear to you that these are my brothers, just like, you know, my blood brothers are my brothers, but they're responsible for their own actions. I'm not responsible for their actions. They are men, just like I'm a man. They are men. They make their own decisions, just like I make, well, Allah make my decisions. Ahezaah make my decisions. But like I used to think that I made my decisions, that's where they are now, in the world of making their own decisions. As they say, free will. So let's flip the situation. Let me be the host of that. So what is it about you that you think is a boon, a blessing to this community? We're going to start there first. Start with the good. So you don't jump too fast, you know. Whoever want to go first can go first. What do you bring to us out to the world as a blessing? You know, that people will come to me and say, yeah, I know this brother that's in your community, and he's about this, that, and the other, or whatever. That will make me smile.
Right, okay.
Boy, they sure is going fast, aren't they? Huh?
No, because truth is the light, you know.
Yes, it is.
And one thing, you know, not always successful, but I try to convey, you know, to start out, give forth by his words and his message, you know, to people that I meet, come across in my daily life about what this community about. And share with them, you know, some experience I've had in being in your company and your presence, and try to give forth the word that it give me to understand of it.
So you saying that basically, if I meet someone out in the world, that's what they will throw at me. They will convey that to me. Oh yeah, I know brother Minister Idris. He's not always.
I ain't so no, right.
But he tries to convey to me your message. That's what they would tell me in general. Because that's what I'm looking for. Like for instance, if you happen to meet some people that know me and they say, oh, you associated with Brother Holy-Apostle Deen? Yeah, I knew him from way back when. He was like, you know, he was always serious. He was always deep in his conversation about Allah. It seemed like he was always, you know, submissive. I mean, way back in the day, he was wild as could be. But, you know, like Allah has blessed him and gave him some balance, man. And he's always put forth good to the people. To try to help them grow towards Allah. So that's what I'm saying. That this is what I believe people would say to you about me.
About yourself, right?
You know, that those who know me now, those who knew me from way back when, they would say some other things, like when, you know, when I was a child.
Right.
You know, he was wild, he was, you know, raw. You know, but he's grown up to be a fine citizen. That's what I would think.
Right.
Like, I give you for instance, like a guy who you work with said, I knew that nigga. Remember that guy? Rahman or whatever his name said, I knew that nigga. And I said, no, he didn't know me, because anybody that knew me would not refer to me as a nigga. They would not refer to me as a nigga at all. Those from the old days who feared me in the streets, and those from the new days who respected me as a man because of me surrendering to Ahezaah. Right. So no one would refer to me as that nigga. So I knew he didn't know, he wasn't familiar with me. And we found out, of course, he wasn't familiar. He was just talking. You see? Because, you know, like your spirit precedes you and your character remains behind. You know?
Yes, sir.
So now I done all this talk. You still haven't told me anything. Let's see, because see, there's some people in the audience, they probably jumping in their seats at home. The ones that know you said, oh, if I was on that show, I would say this, that, and the other. I'd be supportive of them, or I would not.
Right.
You know, because people have their opinions.
Well, what continues to surprise me concerning myself, that even at my advanced age, is learning and understanding how much I still need to learn about, particularly how to address and deal with the people. One of the things in my experience in addressing people about your message and the reality of you, the reality of Ahezaah, you know, is that, and I even spoke to you about it, I come too heavy sometimes. And that was one of my earlier experiences, that I would come to, and I could pick up on it when I get into the dialogue or level, I begin to see the people's discomfort. I begin, you know, the people start to shy away, to cower down, and in time when I couldn't seem to correct it or bring some more desirable effect in it in my part, you know, now I would kind of back off, and so it was always a balancing act with me. When people do approach me, much of the time when people approach me and they see and they're familiar with me on the show, you know, basically and usually those people who approach me on the show are positive people. Those are the people who positively like the program.
These are people who know you from seeing you on television.
Yeah, from seeing me on television.
Those are different group of people.
And those
we're not talking about those people, because see, those people know you from the show. They don't know you. Right. They know what you project into this camera, but they don't know you like I know you. You understand? Now I have a reason for, you know, like if you may, roasting you. I'm ready to roast you right now, because both of you are sitting back like chumps and not expressing yourself because of some kind of fear I think you have about putting yourself out there. But people do know you, and you represent this community, and you represent Allah sitting up on this television set. And like I said to you weeks ago, you sit in a position that you should really be trembling in your seat, because you representing the Lord of all worlds, whether you realize it or not. You're not representing me. Right. You're representing yourself and your relationship to the Lord of all worlds. You keep saying its name. Now, I'm saying to you, as the leader of this community, I would like for you to tell me in front of the audience, people that know you that I can't even go to and say, is this guy telling the truth? To tell me about yourself. Because, see, there's going to come a time when publicly things are going to come out about you.
Right.
You know? And I just want the people in the world to know that I love you, I love all of you, but I stand with Ahezaah. And I'm not going to side with you in wrong. So if you out there wrong, so be it. That's on you.
Well, like I said, like I started beginning, dealing in this, sitting here, it's a fine line. I've crossed over many times, and you know, on the negative, on the negative side, as a leader. Cause you say that
Don't y'all laugh out there in that audience, because I could turn that camera around on you all.
No, I'm just telling you.
But you said it's a fine line, because when you say it's a fine line, to me it sounds like it's easy to cross, you know, on the other side. Where for me, that line is as wide as miles wide.
When I'm saying fine line, I what you
It
saying.
ain't no fine line when it comes to right and wrong with Ahezaah,
Right.
because Ahezaah gives you a clear path that may be like filamentous. The path is very thin, like a razor's edge. But when you get involved in sincerity and truth, that razor's edge is magnified, and you can see it wide. Allah don't leave you out there where it's easy for you to fall off.
Right.
That's just the illusion.
Right. I wasn't. What I'm saying is, when I say fine line, I'm not trying to. Is why, but I'm saying my walk in it,
Mm-hmm.
wrestling through the path. I've been on it. I've been on the negative side. That's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I've been on the
okay.
negative side.
All right. I just don't want
Confusing.
I just don't want the people to get the wrong idea about, like, you know, because you got a lot of people be thinking that this path is really difficult, you know, when it's not.
No, I
What's
was
difficult is the people
that's right.
in their submission to Allah. Whether they want to submit or they do not want to submit.
Right.
That was determines whether it's difficult or hard, because I found this to be an easy path. Once I submitted, it was easy, but when I didn't submit, it was hard. So I found that what was hard and easy was me,
Right.
not the path.
Right.
One of the things in dealing with the people.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But like I was finished saying, you know, being on the negative many times, you know, truth, you know, understanding that the hypocrite of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I either show me hypocrite of myself. I've done things in myself to hurt myself in realization, you know, thinking, you know, down the line it'd be all right. But as time going on, Allah showing me now, give me understanding, the mistakes that I've made come back on me. And the chastisement the Lord giving me now, I'm accepting because I'm do this, regardless of whatever way it's coming to me, through people, through situations, conditions. That's what I'm talking about, the fine line. Accepting,
okay.
that's what I was saying,
I have
accepting
no
these,
problem with that.
these things.
I have
But
no
I
problem
put
with
myself in the condition for these recompense to come back on me,
Mhm.
this chastisement to come on me.
Mhm.
And that's the thing I'm talking about, accepting now, regardless of where Allah bring it to me.
Well,
Looking at-
being that you've said that,
Mhm.
I must ask, and I know you have a question,
Now, I didn't mean to call it
but
quit.
I must ask, do you feel like you owe anyone out there, and as you call it, TV land, an apology?
Sure,
That people that you have known, you know, because
sure.
it's a very serious situation, you know, and I don't want the people out in the world to get upset with me and ask the question, why are you putting them on blast? Well, if they were here, I'd put them on blast too. You know
Right.
me, I
Oh,
put
yeah,
everybody
everybody
on blast.
you know.
But I just never put you on blast on film, on television. But being that you sit up here, I got to do what I got to do. You know, I told you one day that something like this would happen, right? And I'm going easy on you, right?
True indeed. Yes, sir.
Because I do know things I could bring out myself. But I'm not going to do that. But the thing about it is we want to convey to the people, because I don't know what you've done in regards to people who you may have misguided or hurt by your trying and failing,
Right.
or acting as though you were trying and not trying, being hypocritical and deceitful. You see, so these are the people I want to get to, because people look at you and say, that brother is this, that, and the other. That community is this, that, and the other. Because they be looking at you.
Right.
And they opinionate by what they see of you. And they put a label on this community by what they see of you and the other people that so-called represent this community.
Right.
When that is an unfair assumption
Right.
and an unfair opinion to place on everybody because of what they see of one person, especially to put that on me.
On you, right.
You know? So as a blessing, as a mercy for you, I'm now today bringing this out in this manner so that the people can know I don't stand behind you if you're in wrong.
Right.
I'm not a partner to it, and I don't practice some of the things that you may practice.
Right.
Whatever that may be.
Right.
You know?
Yes, sir.
That you are students in the path of the way, trying your wares that Allah has given you as a loan, and I am one who have arrived.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So there's a difference.
Oh, I'd make. Okay.
Okay? I'm not doubting about the clarity of what you bring forth to the people in regards to the differences of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about, like my saying to you, how do you think the people would receive you? Because it's very important with you being leaders of this community.
Right.
And you are leaders of this community by sitting here and representation of this community.
Right.
That makes you a leader of this community, you know? And like I said, it's a position that you need to uphold to the highest, beyond yourself. You need to make that more important than yourself, because you're representing Ahezaah.
Right.
I appreciate the term to apologize to the people. My experience often with the people, what I deal with personally, with my co-workers, family members, blood family members, is to qualify myself and say, no, don't mistake me for the messenger. Don't mistake my display of anger or overlooking things or dismissals or, whatever flaws it might be. I find it striking when you say, do something to make you smile. And I'm like, do something to make you smile. So much to make you not smile I can recognize. I'm saying, I can't even find anything right now. But just hopefully be caused to strive toward making the Lord smile, But even in my habit of qualifying myself, and I'll do it in all types of dialogues that might express anger or dismay. I'm a union steward on my job. And so as such, I end up interacting with
a lot of
people on a number of bases. And that type of dialogue will come out at different times, depending on, no matter what the setting is or what the issue is, eventually it comes out, what is right, what is wrong, what is in order, what is true, all in my perception, though, from what my experience is. But in the manner, what I've grown sensitive about is the manner by which sometimes I will express it. And then I become, I wonder, am I expressing it correctly? Am I doing it in such a way that I may be sitting a person away, because of my personality, or because they say, well, he's too hard, or he's too elusive, or he's trying to be this and that, and I'm conscious of that. You spoke to me in a personal setting. You're talking about those who have much, or those who have more, being access to the messenger of Allah, the messenger of the Lord of all worlds. You are greater responsibility in bringing others that you might meet and giving them something and teaching them something, giving them something that they can grow with. That's the responsibility. So that is a thing that I'm pretty sensitive to in dealing with people, and whatever mindset I'm in at the time or mood I might be in, or whatever type of encounter I'm having with a particular person, because each individual person has different personalities too.
Right.
I'll come across a person who I'm supposed to be assisting on the job, but they'll come with something that's so unreasonable.
Yeah.
Until I'll in turn become unreasonable by them.
Well,
and I have that privilege because I've been long term.
Yeah. Well, if you're educated enough, you're wise enough, you have to be like water, balance out the situation. You're dealing with an insane man. You have to act a little insane to deal with him. Unreasonable. You got to recognize his irrational, mentality. But there's a fine line, a delicate balance between wanting to help someone and wanting to manifest as a wise individual or a smart individual. Most people take the low road where they think they're taking the high road, where they trying to prove to somebody they got dower, they got information, they got knowledge, they heavy, they this, they that, they can teach. But then the high road with Ahezaah is to be sincere in your expressions to help someone, not looking for a pat on the back or anything like any recognition for yourself, but to help someone in ways that you may not even know. Because see, when you go to help someone out there with Ahezaah's words, you're not supposed to try to find out what their life is all about. You know, some people want to know what your life is all about so they can get all into your business and then be talking to you, you know, and thinking that they can command you. Some people want to break you down and make you seem like you're less than them so they can feel great about themselves. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a misappropriation of Allah's words, of Ahezaah's words. And all Ahezaah's words is wisdom. It's wise, powerful, you know? So we could hurt someone by misusing the words and misusing our character.
Yeah.
See, we have to doctor on ourselves as human beings. We have to understand that, you know, like where we at, what our positions are. You have men who go out to help, and you have men who go out to hurt. You have men who go out to give of the talents that the Lord has given them. And you have men who go to use those talents to receive all they can from what the Lord has given them. That's two different types of men. Jesus said it's better to give than to receive. Jesus hated the second kind of man and loved the first. You give of the Lord's talents. The world is full of people on the second kind. Take the talents and try to capitalize on other people's lives instead of giving away what the Lord has given them to give away. Not realizing by faith and by trust and sincerity, you give away what the Lord give you to give away, and the Lord will continue to give you from his endless fountain of treasure. Constantly given to you to give away. But when you start hoarding for yourself, then you start running short on the Lord's talents. Then you start accumulating curses for yourself and promises for hell. For the scale of your judgment to be negative more so than positive. And the Lord will let you have things, man, and let you have your way. While you out here enjoying yourself, thinking you all right, and ignoring what it said. They seek to deceive Allah and the Messenger, but they only deceive themselves. We have so many like that. Now, I would question you and say, I would say to you, question yourself. Are you still on the path of the way to Allah, to Ahezaah? For real, at this moment? That's something we need to ask ourselves all the time. Are you still on the path for real? Or you just got the jacket on? Who knows when the psychiatrist goes insane? When he keep getting dressed up with the white jacket and got the name tag. Who knows when he go insane and needs a psychiatrist? Are you still on the path? Or are you playing the game of self-deceit and trying to deceive others as well to make them think that you're on the path? When you're doing so many things that's not right, which determines or implies or more than suggests, but how can I say, establishes you as being one that's not on the path. Because see, words don't mean nothing if the actions aren't in conjunction with them. You could talk about, you could say, I hate the devil and love the devil. You still a liar. You know?
frame it in that context. What I just explained now, you know, like I said before, I've been on the side where I'm not always on the path. You know,
we know that.
No,
every person who's a traveler on the path had that same situation set up.
Right.
You
I'm
know,
listening to what you explained.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
And the condition I put myself in, like I said again, caused myself not to be on the path. Seeking to be on the path. And sincere in the heart and mind. Fumbling and bumbling and stumbling for my non-submissiveness to come to that, you know. And all the things that you expressed in this moment about weighing oneself, going to the quiet of my world, in my own time, you know, recognize hypocritical parts of myself that ain't to show me. And dealing with that, asking my Lord, begging to bless me to be straight. And that's where the prayers and all these things come into effect. But I'm sure I'm looking at the side that the chastisement on, and I constantly reflect on that.
Well, do you realize, as you speak, do you realize that you can never see it all yourself? That even though you trying to magnify, that you can't see it, and it don't even make sense for you to really look. See, when you start looking, now I'm gonna show you the wisdom of Ahezaah.
Okay.
When you start looking to get yourself right, then you start judging yourself.
Okay.
Breaking the law, the divine law of judgment.
Okay.
By taking yourself away from allowing Ahezaah to judge you.
Okay.
Then you start trying to guide yourself. Just that simple. So if you judging yourself and guiding yourself, you're not on the path of Ahezaah. You're not on the path to Allah. You're not on the path to paradise, the paradisiacal heaven. Huh?
Right.
You are on the path of your own. And see, that's one of the problems we have with people in the world. They stay on the path of themselves. They stay on the path of their own. And then they think that they're right. And they become self-righteous. They start judging others as they would judge themselves. When you have no right to judge yourself because you're not a knower of yourself. You're only a created being. See, the people need to know you're like a preacher. And we know that what preachers do, they stand up on the pulpits or the rostrums or whatever. They preach down to people and nobody ever magnify them.
Right.
And we're not on that kind of path.
Right.
Let us magnify ourselves. And with that, I have to say that we have to go go away from our New York audience. We hope you tune in to get the rest of this show next week. But have a good week. May Ahezaah's peace and blessings be with you about your presence. Maybe I'll host a little more. But nice having you. See you next week.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you